Hi, this is Frances from Healing Vibrations, and I'd like to ask you a question. Were you born in any of these following years, or do you know somebody who was? 1998, 1989, 1980, 1971, 1962, 1953, or 1944? And if you were born in any of those years, this video is for you. I help support people who are self-inquiring and going through some form of transition, and I help them to discover and express their greatest value and contribution as they move forward into the world. And I'm saying hello to whoever's watching, and please say hello back just so I know who's there. So when people come to see me and they start their healing journey, I support them. Hello, Charmaine. Thank you for saying hello. I support people in their healing journey by providing a blueprint reading, which is based on Chinese medicine. And we look at the energy and the patterns of the 5 elements of nature. And so this year, I want to give you the prediction of the energy that's going to be influencing you. So in Chinese medicine, they work with cycles of 9 years. And the first year of a 9-year cycle tends to be about new beginnings. And then there's a lot of growth in between in those preceding years. And the 9th year tends to be the conclusion of that 9-year cycle. And it can be a time of endings. And this year that is relating to you is the 8th year of that cycle. And so in this 8th year of that 9-year cycle, this is a year that relates to the patterns of nature that relates to Earth. And so in an Earth year, there's 3 particular Earth years in a 9-year cycle. And it's always suggested that you don't move house in a Earth year. Even though there can be an energy that comes up for you that makes you twitchy and feel that you want to move or you want to create some changes around the home, it's highly suggested not to move in this particular year, only because if you were to imagine Earth stays still. It doesn't shift, it doesn't move. And so if you were to move in an Earth year, what you do is create a bit of disruption to the energy, not just in regard to the move itself, but also to the relationships that you're in. Hello, Rick. Thank you for watching. And also it impacts your relationships, and it impacts, even the work that you may be doing in this particular year. So if you can stay put in this particular year, that would be really beneficial. You can start looking for a new place. You can pack your boxes and do all the work that's required to move if you feel you need to move, but don't make the actual move till next year. This year, in regard to this Earth energy, is very much a year relating to the mountain. If you can imagine the image of a mountain doesn't move, but inside that mountain is also a cave. And this year, this is what the energy is in regard to what's affecting you. You're inside the cave this year, and it can be what we class as a year of deeper inner transformation. There's a lot of inner work going on in a year like this. And this is a year where you may find it's a little bit, it's a bit challenging in that you may feel like you want to isolate yourself a little bit more this year. You may not feel as social. It's a year where you're meant to do a lot of reevaluating and looking at your life until now and saying, what doesn't really fit for me now? What do I need to change? And what's stopping me from feeling fulfilled? And so this is where you're meant to reevaluate, and maybe a great year to meditate, because I came out of this year last year. It was a challenging year because I'm a social person and I like to get out and do things, and yet the energy kind of pulled me back to coming back to myself. So just know that the energy will impact you in such a way where there's a lot of deeper transformation going on for you. You'll be looking at life, and you'll be looking at, as I said, where you're working, where you're living, and you'll be reevaluating. And you may look at ways that you can make adjustments, and that's rightfully so, to look at how you can make adjustments, but it's not so much an action year where you make those changes. You may make those changes next year. So it's important to what we call stew in your own juices this year. It's allowing yourself to have that time to go inside the cave and remind yourself not to move, because as I said, the mountain doesn't move, and so you shouldn't either. But it's also a year for you to look at ways that you can make a better life for yourself. And when we look at this particular image, we can look at the image of the mountain, and the mountain doesn't move, but it also can be compared to the energy of a cocoon and a caterpillar being inside the cocoon. Now you can imagine that when a caterpillar is in the cocoon, it's very tight in there and there's not a lot of movement there, and so it can be kind of uncomfortable. And this is what this energy this year can be for you, where you're feeling a little bit uncomfortable in the energy that's kind of making you stay home and come home to yourself, so to speak. So, but here's the thing. At the end of this particular year, and the year usually tends to start from the 4th of February of the current year, but the energy of this year can be felt even as early as November, December of last year. You will have felt some kind of change occurring. And this was the energy that was starting to flow into your life. Know that after this year, just know that the caterpillar then comes out of the cocoon, and what it becomes is a butterfly. So the energy that will happen for you next year is very much like what a butterfly will experience, the sense of freedom, and they'll be able to express yourself and somehow have a greater sense of joy. And that's not to say you won't have times of joy this year, but there is a lot of deeper inner transformation going on. I'm just removing a message off my phone there. Also know that this year, Earth, or the element of Earth, relates to relationships, and so relationships may come under review this year for you. So you may look at your relationships and see what doesn't satisfy you in your relationships. And also it can involve females in your relationships. So it could be family members that are female, or just relating to females in general. There's a lot of work to do on yourself this year in how you can create a deeper transformation within yourself, but also how you can, also flow that on into your relationships. Now, if you can imagine coming back to the cave within the mountain, when you're inside the cave, if somebody's trying to communicate to you and you're trying to communicate to them, there can be like an echo going on. And then what can happen is miscommunications, and people don't quite hear you or understand you as much as you think they might, and you may not understand them as well. So just know that the energy is impacting you in such a way, and that's why it's just really pushing you to come back to yourself and do that deeper inner transformation, but that reevaluation. And it can be a challenging year, but it is also a very rewarding year if you work with the energy the best way possible. This year also, miscommunications can come up in the way of if you were to sign a contract, for instance. It's really important for you to look at all the details, and even maybe sit with somebody and help them go over the details so that you can see more clearly, because as I said, it's like even there's an echo going on there. You're not kind of getting as clear information about things as you normally would. And it can also come up in the way of travel plans. You might book a ticket to go somewhere and you think the plane's leaving at 3 o'clock, where in fact it was leaving at 2 o'clock. And it could be that you're not reading things as they would naturally appear. So watch out for miscommunications this year. It's really important to know that can come up in the way that you communicate and people communicate to you, but also in other day-to-day things that go on for you. So powerful year this year, and know that as you go through this inner transformation, at the end of it you'll have more clarity about where you're going, how you want your life to look, and also how you want to move forward in your relationships as well. And next year, know that you've got a time to look forward to where you break out of that cocoon, so to speak, and you're like that butterfly and experiencing the freedom that comes with that. So powerful year this year. I always suggest what colours are really powerful for you to navigate with this year as well. So the colours associated with earth, or this particular element of earth, are yellows, earth tones, browns and beiges. So these are colours that you might like to wear more of this year if you like how you look in them. Or also you might like to decorate your home with, little items that have those colours. You might put a beautiful brown cushion on the couch, or you may have an image of a mountain, for instance, and put that up on the wall for you to kind of look at from time to time. So there's little things that you can do to kind of help yourself be grounded and to work with the energy that's influencing you this year. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions about what this all means and what does this divine blueprint mean and what can it tell you about you and your inner design, this is just a little bit of information about how the energy of this year influences you. But a divine blueprint reading gives you the whole story of who you are and the map to your inner design. And it gives you a lot of information about your true calling and the core challenges that can come up for you through your life, and also the emotions that you may be most triggered by. So thank you for watching. I'm glad that you may get some information out of this, and I'll leave a link in this post if you're interested to click through to my website and have a look at more information about this particular reading. And I look forward to connecting with you again tomorrow night to talk about the 9th year of this 9-year cycle as we draw to a close of this 9 years that I've been speaking to you about over the last couple of weeks. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.